Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm Mike Drodas, Bible teacher and preacher, and you've tuned into my YouTube channel, Solving the Prophetic Puzzle. We are seeing prophetic events accelerate. We are on God's timeline. We are in a time tunnel, moving towards the return of Jesus Christ at the end of the 7-year tribulation period as he comes back as Lord of Lords and King of Kings. Now, God created this timeline for mankind. It began on the very first day of creation, when God created the world, the universe, and everything that we now see here. And it started on day one, and he has given to man 6,000 years. One day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. God created the entire world and universe in 6 days. 6 24-hour days. And on the 7th day, God rested. God gave to man 6,000 years. His lease on this earth, his lease on this planet is 6,000 years. Now we are near the end of the 6,000-year time period. We are in the end of the last few days, the last 2 days here in God's prophetic timeline. If we reckon the first 4,000 years from day one of creation to when Jesus Christ was crucified, died, buried, and then was resurrected, we see that is about 4,000 years or 4 days. Then when the church age began, shortly after Jesus' ascension, Peter spoke and remarked from the prophet Joel that said, "In the last days, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh." We are now living in the last of the last days. We are very close to 6,000 years, and then time will be up. We are on this tunnel of time, and we're going towards this one point in the future. And as we move towards this point, prophetic events happen at quicker and quicker paces because our timeline is compressing. God has set times and set events for prophetic things to happen. And we are witnessing that right now. In Galatians, Paul says that in the fullness of time, Jesus was born. Acts chapter 1, verse 7, Jesus said to them, "It's not for you to know the times or seasons which the Father has put in his own authority." God has a timeline. We're just moving along on his timeline. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1, Paul says, "But concerning the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I should write to you." We're on this timeline. And Satan understands that God has a timeline as well. But Satan thinks, that he can adjust or even destroy God's timeline, thus causing God to abort the plan that he has for mankind. How is Satan going to do this? Let's first look at why. God has had a plan before time began. God lives outside of time. God is never surprised by an event that happens in time. Genesis 1:1, we read, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." God created the heavens and the earth in the beginning. God created time. God created space. God created matter. Therefore, God is above time, space, and matter. God knew that the first man, Adam, would fall. God knew that his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, would come on an assignment to this earth to die for mankind, to provide and pave a way to salvation through Christ. God knows that some men will reject this free gift of salvation offered to all. God knows about the church age. God knows about the timeline for his beloved Israel and the Jewish people. God knows about Daniel's 70th week and the 7-year tribulation period. God knows that the man of sin, spoken of by Daniel in chapter 9, the man of sin will make a covenant with the many for 1 week. And in the middle of that week, this man of sin, this Antichrist, will go in to the Jewish temple and desecrate it, create and establish an image of himself, thereby causing and desiring people to worship him. God knows all this. God knows that at the midpoint, Satan will attempt this diabolical plan. And he will then introduce the mark of the beast to these worlds. God knows that. God knows the exact day of the rapture. People constantly are telling me, no one knows the day or the hour. I know that. I know no one knows the day or the hour. No one knows the day or the hour except the Father in heaven. But God knows the exact time and the exact day of the rapture. God knows that after the rapture, he will pour out his wrath upon unrepentant men who have decided to follow the beast and accept his mark, or have simply rejected Jesus Christ as the only way. God knows that that time is coming. God knows that Jesus, at the end of the tribulation period, at the end of Daniel's 70th week, will return as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, destroying the Antichrist, beast, and the false prophet, and establishing a millennial kingdom here on this earth for 1,000 years. God knows that. That is the timeline. It cannot be deviated from. Satan has been trying to stop it. Satan has been trying to slow it down, but he can't. He tried to wipe out the Jewish nation more than once. He tried to stop Jesus Christ by killing Jesus. First, he tried to tempt him. Then, when he found out that wouldn't work, he tried to kill Jesus. Well, he succeeded in killing Jesus, but that didn't work either. Satan doesn't understand everything that's going on. He tries to prevent the word of God from going forward by stopping preachers and destroying churches and persecuting Christians. But the more that he does that, the more the word seems to go about all over the world. He tried to corrupt mankind in the days of Noah and almost succeeded in corrupting the entire world population, save Noah and his family, who God rescued in the ark, which is a type of the rapture. And he will once again, in the near future, try to corrupt all mankind again with the mark of the beast, which I feel that will be more than a mark. Yes, it will be a mark on the hand or forehead, but it will also genetically corrupt humanity, forever dooming those who accept the mark of the beast. Satan knows that his time is short. In Matthew chapter 24, that great parable of the fig tree, Jesus said in Matthew 24, verse 32, "Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branches has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things, know that it is near, at the door. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away." Jesus is telling us, and Satan also realized, that Israel is the fig tree generation. Israel is the fig tree, and the generation that saw the fig tree, the nation of Israel, come back and begin to blossom and bloom. All these things that Jesus was talking about in Matthew 24 will come to pass. The tunnel of time, the funnel of time, is getting more and more narrow. Since 1948, we have seen prophecy happen at an escalating pace. Things are speeding up as we go forward down this tunnel, down this funnel of time. Jesus referred to them as birth pains. And so as I close today, I want to encourage you to be on the lookout for these events that are happening. They will begin to tell you that we are getting closer and closer to the rapture. We're getting closer and closer to the tribulation period. We're getting closer and closer to prophecy being fulfilled. Number 1, 5 things that I want you to be on the lookout for. Number 1, signs in the heavens. Star signs, comets, asteroids and meteors, an increase in UFO sightings. Be on the lookout for star signs. Number 2, signs under the earth. Volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis. More and more intensity and in more frequency. Number 3, Wars, rumors of wars. This has always been going on, but we are seeing an escalation of wars and rumors of wars. Keep your eye on Ukraine. Keep your eye on Russia. Keep your eye on North Korea. Keep your eye on China. We are going to see an increase in wars and rumors of wars. Number 4, shortages and surveillance. I won't say much about that right now, but shortages and surveillance. Number 5, the beast system taking hold throughout the entire society, throughout the financial, throughout government, through medical, through religious, through entertainment. The beast system is getting a hold right now on these institutions. There is a man alive and well right now, and he's waiting in the wings. Some world leaders know about him. Some world leaders are actually working for him. Some may be opposed to it. But all of this is pointing towards placing this man of sin, this man of perdition, this Antichrist into a position to begin Daniel's 70th week. We're on the cusp of all that right now. We're seeing things happen on right before our eyes where men are being maneuvered into positions for the final thrust of these end times prophetic events. We're right there. The good news is, as we see all of these things happening, we can rejoice. We can be happy. We can look up because we know our redemption draweth nigh. And we are so close to the rapture. As we see all these things happening, we have to know that we are getting closer and closer to the rapture. Stay strong, persevere, walk with the Lord, and keep watching. Thanks again. We'll see you next time as we continue to solve the prophetic puzzle. God bless you.